Hi everyone, welcome back. This section is going to be about one-to-one functions, and this video is just going to be a quick introduction to it. In the next video we will talk about how to detect when a function is one-to-one, and then in the video after that we'll talk about how one-to-one functions are related to this concept called inverses of functions. So, this is not the formal definition of a one-to-one function, but it is equivalent. A function is one-to-one if the second coordinates of every ordered pair is unique. So, an example here would be something like this. So, example, if I had 2, 4, 7, 8, 1, 1, 6, 3, 9, 2. There's an example. Because it is a function, because every first coordinate is unique, and it's also one-to-one because every second coordinate is unique. And that's the idea of one-to-one, is that exactly each element in the domain corresponds to a unique element in the range. A non-example here. Let's look at 1, 2, 4, 3, 7, 1, and 3, 3. Now, each one of these first coordinates are unique, so this is a function, but notice that both the 4 and the 3 have 3 as the second coordinate. So while each domain element goes to exactly one range element, the choice of the range element is not unique for each domain element, since 4 and 3 map to the same thing. If you want to think about it in terms of arrows, functions say, so here's 1, 4, 7, 3, and 2, 3, and 1. And so a function says that you have a unique arrow coming out of each number. So this is an example of a function, whereas up here, in the one-to-one function, we'll have a 2, a 7, a 1, a 6, and a 9, and we have a 4, 8, 1, 3, and 2 in a range. And notice that in a one-to-one function, you have a unique arrow coming out of each domain element, but you also have a unique arrow going into each range element, and that's what it means to be one-to-one. So each one of these gets paired with exactly one of these. Or each element of the domain gets paired up with exactly one element in the domain. But when we have lists of ordered pairs like this, that's fine, but what about an equation like this? F of x equals x cubed minus 9x squared plus 7x minus 4. Is this one-to-one? And I will tell you right now, from looking at this, I have no idea, to be honest. It could be, it could not be. I would have to do some analysis on the function to see if it was or not. But just by looking at it, I have no idea, even with all my experience in math. So, but I do know how to figure it out. But there is a way to tell, and let's look at it, 2 examples here. One is f of x equals x squared. So, this is not one-to-one because, for example, f of 2 is 4 and f of negative 2 is 4. So this, remember that this corresponds to the point 2, 4, and this corresponds to the point negative 2, 4. And so notice that we have a repeated y element, so this is not one-to-one. And if we look at the graph of this parabola, No, so we'll have 2 here and -2 here. And we have 2 points to go with 4. And notice that we have a lot of other things that have the same y coordinates here. Whereas we look at a function like f of x equals x cubed, and doesn't matter what values I pick. For example, f of 1 equals 1, but f of -1 equals -1, and etc. down the line. And if we look at the graph of x cubed, notice that it doesn't matter which... No, that's a crappy graph. Let's try it again. It doesn't matter which value of y we pick, there's always just exactly one corresponding y value. So, so this function is one-to-one. So, in the next video, and I've kind of suggested how to attack this by looking at the graphs, we're going to learn about a test that will teach us how to detect one-to-one functions. And before I go, though, I wanted to talk about other names for one-to-one functions. There are other names. For one-to-one functions. The two most common you will find if you're going to do an internet search was one is a lot of people will just abbreviate the words to the expression 1-to-1 like this. But another very common term, usually used in higher mathematics, but sometimes it's talked about in the college or pre-algebra textbooks, are called injective functions. So if you see this expression here, or you see the word the phrase injective function, those are just they're the same thing as a one-to-one function, one-to-one function. So just in case you search on the internet, those are all the same thing. All right, we'll move on to the next video about the horizontal line test.